Welcome to this episode of the UK Sports Chat podcast. I'm Joe Williams, and in today's episode, we continue with our community member focus. And I am chatting with Rachel Abernethy, who you may recognise from our Instagram stories. Rachel is the face of our Instagram stories. Enjoy this half-hour interview and getting to know Rachel. Hi, Rachel.
Hi, Joe. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Excited to be here today.
Excited? Any nerves?
Nervous, me? Just a little bit.
So for those who don't know, Rachel is the face of the UK Run Chat Instagram stories, aren't you?
Yes, I try to do that anyway. Make
You
people
do-
laugh a little bit and let them see what I'm up to. Yep,
yeah, you do it. You're brilliant at it. Very, very
thanks.
relaxed. You are on camera, which is why it's unusual to think you might be nervous about coming on here.
I know it is a bit different. It's maybe easier if people can see you. You
Yeah,
can't see my how I'm reacting or facial expressions, but anyway, looking forward to chatting to everybody today.
good,
Find out a little bit more about me.
cool. So go on then. Tell us more about you. What would you do for a day job, and what's your daily
Oh
do?
yeah. The life outside of running.
Yeah,
So well, I guess a bit of information that's useful is I'm actually in Dublin,
yeah,
but I am from Northern Ireland, as many people might pick out from the accent, although I get all sorts of places. Most people think I'm Scottish, which so I'll say this from the beginning, I'm not, but I did go to university there, so maybe that's why.
Oh, did you?
But
Whereabouts?
sorry,
Whereabouts did you go to uni?
in St Andrews on the east coast of Scotland, so between Edinburgh and Dundee, and it was lovely. And I know I'm sure we'll get into this, but I did run there a bit too, and I wish I could just go back for a lovely run along West Sands Beach. It's anybody from around that area will know it's beautiful.
Yeah,
So I do miss that. And of course, this year without I haven't been able to travel, so I haven't gone back, which is quite sad. But I'll definitely be going back there once we can travel again
yeah,
and go back to all of those places. But I guess linked to that, I studied geography there, and that led on to studying for a master's. And then I've worked in Exeter, where I joined the physical running group of UK Run Chat Exeter, and that's
yeah.
what got me into all of this.
Hmm.
Um, Meeting some of the gang. But I left there, and obviously I've moved to Dublin now, and I work for a tech company called Esri Ireland, and we specialise in geographic information systems. And I won't go into too much detail as I've been told I'm not very good at explaining this. And most of us, most of us who work there, we just say it's like Google Maps, but we do a lot. It's digital mapping, spatial analysis. It's good for my geography background, but it's very IT based as well.
Yeah,
But it links quite well in with running because I still like to map out my routes, and
yeah,
there is that link there. I'm very much into data and stats and things like that. So I'm a bit of a Strava addict as well. So it all kind of links in together my
yeah,
day job and my interests outside of work as well.
yeah.
So that's what I do.
Thank
And
you.
running definitely helps keep me sane through all of that. With at the moment I'm working from home, and I'm lucky enough to be able to do that anyway. I just hadn't done it very much, but
Okay.
that's what I'm doing at the moment.
Oh, right. So you work from home every. Well, what are the restrictions at the moment? You're
Oh yeah,
than we are currently, aren't
yeah. We're in quite strict restrictions at the moment over here. The whole of Ireland, as in the Republic of Ireland,
you?
we're in our level 5, which means we've got a 5 kilometre travel and exercise radius.
Yeah,
So I can't go too far. Yes, everybody's to work from home if they can, which has been the case this whole time for me. And non-essential shops are closed, all that sort of thing.
yeah,
But as many people might have seen, I have bought a turbo trainer for the bike. I maybe shouldn't talk about cycling on this, but
yeah.
that
Right.
is the one thing that has kept me going now through another lockdown.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so you did you went to St Andrews.
St Andrews, yeah.
So what? How come you ended up in Exeter then? Was that for your masters?
No, so I actually went back to Northern Ireland again for my masters and
Yeah.
stayed at home, worked part time and studied for that. And then I went to Exeter to work for the Met Office and to do a bit of the GIS mapping work there. So I have a bit of a weather background. I like that side of physical geography. So I worked there, absolutely loved it there. And it was about 2 years in Exeter.
Yeah.
And it's such a great place. I'm sure there's plenty listening that are from there or have been there. And there's the lovely route from the quay in Exeter that goes down to Exmouth, or you can go like each side of the estuary there. And I used to run and cycle along it.
Mhm.
And the weather was so good that we used to just cycle down to the beach in Exmouth after work, and it just a different way of life. I felt like I was on my holidays all the time.
Yeah, the key's lovely. I've ran there with Matt Upston. So
Oh yeah, yeah. Matt kept me on my toes there doing sprints, and the Banana Hills were our famous hill sprint night.
yeah, yeah,
They're good workouts.
yeah. Matt's been running the Exeter club there. It's been going 3 or 4 years now. I think that one.
Yeah, I remember when I first heard about it, they'd organised a rhino run. This is how I first heard about it. It was on Twitter, and I thought it was a thing like across all of Exeter, like a huge event.
Yeah,
And I said to my friend Pip, who I just met through actually another running club that we had joined, and I said, "Oh, I think there's this big thing happening. We're going to run around all these. There were rhinos. It was for like a charity event, and they had these rhino statues all around Exeter.
yeah.
And so we rocked up there, and there was maybe only about 4 or 5 others. And we didn't know if we were in the right place, but we did a really fun run, taking photos and selfies with all of these cool rhino statues. And that's when we found the group, and then stuck with them ever since that whole time. And yeah, great way to make friends in a new place for
Yeah,
sure, and just see a bit more of like a new place that you're living.
yeah, definitely,
Hmm.
definitely. So when did you start running then? Was that at uni, or have you always been sporty? Did you do sport as a child? What?
I think I think about this quite a bit. When did I actually start? And during university was the first time I decided myself I'm going to train for a half marathon. And
Yeah.
that was my decision. Whereas before that, I did run before that. I remember at school,
Mhm.
I joined the Harriers Club. So we were doing like cross country running around well, it was hockey pitches and football fields. And I was the last one there. And I, I always think people have these stories like they weren't into PE, they weren't into sports. I was into it. I just wasn't very good. And so I'd always be at the back of that running group,
Yeah,
or I did play hockey, but I was the sub on the B team. But I remember standing out in the snow and the hail, waiting to be subbed onto the game, and like I was committed, but I just wasn't very good. And then I joined my mum and some others from our church. Actually started a running club,
yeah,
and they were maybe training for 5Ks and different things, and I went along to this, and I did not enjoy it, but I did keep going. I think my mum probably encouraged me to do it. And I remember the guy that kind of led this club. I mean, it was just informal, but the guy who led it, I remember he would put his hand on your back and be like, "Come on," and push you along. And I'd get so angry. I'd be like, don't come near me. Don't. I didn't really want somebody telling me what to do.
yeah.
But my mum and I did Race for Life, the 5K. We did that
Mhm.
together. I think one in Belfast and one in Coleraine, our hometown. So we did those together. And
Yeah,
then I remember doing a 10K with others from that group in Lisburn, in Northern Ireland as well. And I remember that was the first time I just ran off by myself and met the others at the end and was like, oh, okay, I can actually
yeah,
do this. This was fun. But yeah, then going to uni, I was just raising money for a charity that was quite close to my family at the time, and decided to do the Edinburgh half marathon.
Yeah. So,
And
so was that improvement then that you saw in those, from the 5K to the 10K? You just said, you met them at the end.
yeah,
Is that what drove you to then think, well, I can do more of this? I can do a half marathon, or what? Why did you decide
yeah,
to do it?
I think there was a bit of a break in between those, but that 10K, looking back, I probably didn't think at the time there was some big revelation. But when I think back to it, I can picture the moment where I kind of set off by myself and was actually enjoying it and didn't have somebody else kind of pushing me along, and I
Yeah,
was able to do it. But those are kind of, I can picture myself doing that, but the whole thing is a bit of a vague memory. It was quite a long time ago.
yeah,
Um, and so I feel like I had, in a way, always been running or always been doing something like that, but it wasn't until, as I said, doing Edinburgh half that was my decision to actually train for it. I don't really remember training for those 5K and 10Ks when I was younger.
yeah,
So the half marathon was definitely the first time of, okay, that's actually go out a couple of times a week, which whenever you're at university and you're also drinking and out partying, now that I feel like that was an achievement to actually
yeah.
do that
So
as
did you
well.
train? How did you train for that?
Yeah, I trained for that
How
half.
often? What was your kind of structure? Can you remember back then? Or
I do remember my plan. I think what I've always done is, and I can remember this, is with the weekend runs, the long runs, as long as I was increasing those, I would just kind of do whatever I wanted during the week. And
yeah,
back then, I was not doing speed work, I wasn't doing intervals, probably wasn't doing hill sprints, nothing like that. It was just a case of running 2 or 3 times a week and increasing that long run.
yeah.
I don't really remember too much else apart from doing the laps around St Andrews and my flatmates either welcoming me back or thinking I was crazy for going out and doing this. But they've both ran half marathons since, so I think the bug
Brilliant.
caught on.
Yeah, yeah. You inspired them.
Yeah.
So, what's your You mentioned the Edinburgh race there. Have you got a favourite event you've ever done?
Yeah, well, actually does link in quite well because although that was the half, I carried on and did Edinburgh half 2 more times after that, so I've done it 3 times.
Yeah,
And Edinburgh for me, I think, is my favourite event because then I went back in 2018 and that was my first marathon because I thought I've done the half there. It's where I got my first sub 2 hour half marathon,
yeah,
and I just really wanted to go back to Edinburgh and just have that moment. So I absolutely love the marathon race there, and they changed they changed the route, and I think that year, 2018, for the
yeah,
marathon.
yeah,
So you're doing a couple of miles in the city itself, and then you're heading out along the coast, and it is very flat, which people don't think, because you think of Arthur's Seat in the hills, but you're
yeah.
actually running out along the coast, and yeah, you've got bits where you're kind of on your own, but it's so beautiful being there, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I did Edinburgh in 2010. I remember that stretch of coast.
Yeah,
The weather had been good. It was cold, but the weather had been good for running. And then all of a sudden,
yeah.
you hit that stretch of coast, the rain was coming at you.
Oh
So
no.
the wind, literally smashing you straight in the face. It was, yeah, that was.
Oh goodness. It's
Yeah.
a kind of laugh or cry moment. You just have to persevere.
Cool.
You never quite know what weather you're going to get um, over there, but it's good fun.
So have you got any? It's quite tricky really without events happening at the moment. But what are your goals and aims at the moment?
No, this sounds, I'm trying not. I should probably talk about some other races, but I had actually signed up to Edinburgh Marathon again this year,
Okay.
and that got, well, I had that in mind, Edinburgh Marathon, and I actually had Paris half marathon in March.
Yep.
And actually, we went over there. It was a group, so I run with a running group here in Dublin, Porterstown Panthers,
Hmm.
and about 40 of us flew out to Paris in March, and we were a bit unsure. It was just at the start of hearing about the pandemic, and we were a bit unsure, but we went out anyway. And of course, the race got cancelled, and just the evening
What?
before, as we were about to pick up our race numbers. So that was a bit devastating, but we knew obviously this for the best. But we had a good weekend.
I was going to say, what did you do then? You're in Paris.
Yeah, we started drinking wine
Yeah.
and forgetting that we were going to run. But a group of most people did go and do their own half marathon. My boyfriend Martin was with us, and the two of us just went for our own run the next day and took in some sights, and yeah, just had a nice weekend. It then did rain the whole time as well, so it wasn't wasn't amazing, but we did the best that we could in the situation.
Yeah, good on you.
Good memories of before lockdown, at least.
Yeah.
But that both Paris half and Edinburgh,
Yeah.
Edinburgh's usually in May. The two of those both got postponed to the same weekend in September.
Oh, right.
So what?
Which
How
one would you
typical!
have
Like
done?
I probably would have just gone to Edinburgh
Would you? Yeah.
and done the marathon, but turns out neither happened. And Edinburgh now has the virtual race, and the good thing about it is you can do it over a couple of days or whenever you want until the end of the year. So I'm hoping to do a marathon on the 5th of December. That's a few
Okay.
days just before my birthday,
Okay.
and I don't plan on doing it fast or go for the time I would have wanted to go for. I'm just going to try to get round and do it just to have something to aim for.
Yeah. Yeah. And so as your how you plan now versus that first half marathon you did in Edinburgh, how has that changed if it was going for an event?
Oh yeah, it has changed so much. I've definitely learnt a lot about running in these past few years.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not big. Well, I do have a plan,
Hmm.
but I'll write out my own plan. And again, still a similar way of making sure the weekend long runs increase. I would definitely give myself more time. So, a lot of online training plans are maybe 12 weeks. I know to give myself more than that because you never know if you're going to get sick or you just want to repeat a week. So, I'm conscious to give myself that time,
Yeah.
as well as the types of training during the week. Definitely incorporating more speed work, hill sessions, understanding the importance of rest days and cross training and building up that overall fitness
Yeah.
rather than just running. Definitely important. And one thing that's really improved really in the past year or so is going to the gym and doing strength work as well.
Yeah.
And I can feel a difference. That definitely helps so much. So always learning. There's different sessions come along. I did a great 10K training plan there in August and pushed myself more than I've ever done before. Harder sessions that a few years ago I'd have thought, how could anybody do this? You know, you expect me to run at this pace for how long? But then you do it and you realize you can actually do these things. It's just a matter of pushing yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Brilliant. And you've been doing, and like you mentioned earlier, you've been doing a lot of cycling as well, which I found
Yeah.
exciting for me with my running, and I did more of it.
Yeah, am I allowed to talk about cycling on here? People get angry. No, so I really do love cycling and actually got into that more when I was living in Exeter as well. And that's why I think somebody gave me a second-hand bike just to cycle to work, and then I used the cycle to work scheme and got myself a road bike. And actually, and it's one of those things as well about getting into sports and something I'm probably passionate about is women in sports. And my dad said to me, and I get on with my dad very well, but he said, "Why do you need a road bike? Would you not be fine getting a hybrid or, something else?" And I was like, "No, I need the drop handlebars. I want to look like a pro." And best decision I've ever made. Love getting out on the road bike. And I took part in a few sportives, and
Yeah.
there was a race around Dartmoor
Yeah.
and then another, I can't remember, we did another one, but I remember that day in Dartmoor and it was absolutely chucking it down.
Yeah.
And you got a medal, like a gold medal if you finished in this time, silver in this time, bronze in this time. You just had to get finish in a certain time period. And I got a gold medal that day. I was like,
Yay.
where did this even come from? Um, I think I didn't want to be out in the rain for any longer than I needed to. So I was just absolutely going for it. And that
Yeah.
was so much fun. And so I always remember that. And
Yeah,
yeah, now just oh
you
sorry,
should be
go.
really proud of that because you, like you say, you if you think that you and you've been very honest about it, you said at school that you'd stand out in the snow and the rain, and in
Yeah,
that weather that Dartmoor gave you, you used to be standing there waiting for your turn. Whereas when you
yeah,
were in it, you were going right weather, you're having it.
yeah, exactly. I've waited for this moment. I'm
Yeah,
finally doing it. Yep.
yeah, good on you, good on you.
Yeah. I think that also shows I'm more of a solo sport person than a team sport person.
Yeah,
There's maybe a good thing to take from that too. At least in those with running and cycling, yeah, you can go and do it. You can push yourself. As much as it's nice to go out with somebody and there's the group running or group cycling,
yeah,
there nothing beats just right. I'm the one doing this. I'm the one choosing when I'm going out training. I know I can do it.
yeah. I
Definitely
agree.
a good feeling.
The headspace is the word that I use.
Yeah,
That's what it is for me. Yeah, couldn't agree more.
definitely. So true.
So have you got what's your go-to accessory? Have you got?
Oh, I probably have. I'm trying to look around me right now, thinking what do I use. Um, I get. I guess for me, the main thing I have when I'm running, this is maybe a bit of a boring answer, but I do listen to music when I'm running,
Yeah,
and I got AirPods for Christmas a year or two ago,
yeah,
and I love wearing them. So I don't have anything kind of hanging around me, and I put my tunes on, and that's probably the main thing. That's not very. I guess they are kind of high tech in a way, but they're a bit
yeah.
normalized now.
Yeah.
Um, but
Which
that definitely have them, and obviously wouldn't go out without my Garmin. But again,
yeah,
the
I thought
standard answer.
yeah, yeah. But you've got quite an interesting maps and your stats as you said. So
Yeah.
what's on your what tracks are on your AirPod that you're listening to at the moment?
Oh, I probably have such a embarrassing
Go on.
playlist.
Yeah,
And I have told people this on our UK Run Chat stories. I am a country music fan,
okay.
so sometimes that gets me round. Uh, that makes me feel quite summery, and it's party music as well.
Yeah,
But my go-to running track, and especially love it during a race, is Meatloaf "Bad Out of Hell" because it's 9 minutes long, so you know you've got a good distance to cover in that time.
yeah,
There's I like being able to have words in songs, so I'm not having dance music with a beat the whole time. You can sing along, but it does have a good rhythm to run to. So that is one of my top tunes. But then I'll also have some musicals. I think said about this recently too. The Greatest Showman soundtrack
yeah.
is so good for running too. Really motivational. It makes me just want to put my arms in the air, be like jumping around and cheering. it's, it's definitely good. Yeah,
Brilliant.
and I'm definitely more a music person than a podcast person. If you're going to ask me about that, I'm
Yeah,
not too clued up on podcasts, even though I'm talking about on one right now. But they're good, I guess. I'd be more into an audio book if I really wanted to do a
yeah,
long, slow run um, for marathon training. But again, halfway through, I'll be like, I'll just put my music on. Just need a beat.
yeah. You think you need meatloaf?
Yeah. But if anyone's listening to this while they are running, keep listening. Don't change the music.
What's your favorite non-running hobby?
Oh, I'm a non-cycling as well. Probably shouldn't
Well, I'm almost
say
cycling.
that either.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, what else do I like to do? I tr- I try. I'm trying at the moment to actually get more into reading again. But
okay.
I find it very hard this year with so much else going on. It's actually hard to just concentrate.
Yeah,
But that's definitely something. Try to just zone out and relax with a good book,
yeah,
and that's probably the main thing.
yeah.
What
Any,
else have I tried to do?
what's the best book you've read that you've read recently, or haven't you? You're getting back
Oh,
into it.
yeah, actually, I did finish a book the other week. I read The Midnight Library by Matt Haig, and
Okay.
I could not recommend it enough. I I wanted a book that I could just escape into, forget about everything else that's going on right now. And that book did it perfectly, and it makes you think a lot about life. And I was quite sad for it to be over. And the book I'm reading right now isn't just as captivating. I'll not say what it is, so I feel bad, but I will I will power through. That's my plan for this afternoon.
Do you ever not finish a book though? I do that. I'll read half, and if it doesn't grab me, I'll leave it.
I
It will-
know
or do
I
you have
have I have done that before, but I thought I actually was talking to my friend about this morning. I said, I know life is too short. I could just stop reading this and move on, but I'm gonna give it one more go.
I think that says a lot about your personality from what you've told us. Yeah,
Just one more chance.
yeah, you won't give up. Mm. So, have
Yeah.
you got a favourite book? Favourite book? Favourite film? Favourite TV series?
Oh, well, favorite TV series, maybe just do this out of order, is Orange is the New Black.
Okay, I've,
Best thing on Netflix
I've never
ever.
seen that one. My Lucy does, my fiance, but I
Oh,
haven't.
it's so good. Um, it's made me laugh. It's made me cry. Made me happy. Made me angry. All of those things. It's so good.
That's good.
Uh, yep, definitely recommend that. Movie. Do like a good kind of chick flick. Um, growing up, it used to be Titanic was my favorite film. I'm also just off the top of my head, we're nearly into the season. I love The Holiday, which is a Christmas film, but it always
Oh,
comes to mind as a favorite.
yeah, that's an annual film. That and Love
Yep.
Actually, Lucy
Oh,
Ashton
yep.
was on
Yep.
every year. Yeah.
Yeah. We were looking up some movies to watch over Halloween yesterday, and I'm not a scary movie person, so I'd like to quickly get past Halloween and get to the Christmas films.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not one for horrors either. Must admit.
and and book and um oh, you can tell I have not prepared for any of this, so trying to think off the top of my head. I'm not sure about ever, and I don't want to embarrass myself by saying something silly, but recently, I think it actually was last year on holiday, I read. Um, I'm just trying to think of a recent good book. Obviously, Matt Haig's book was amazing, but I read Dolly Alderton's Everything I Know About Love, and just as a relatable kind of female book, absolutely loved it. I'm not saying that's like a big classic and something like that, but just off the top of my head, that's something I've really enjoyed recently. I'm hoping to get her uh, first novel as well with my birthday and Christmas coming up, so fingers crossed.
Cool. Yeah, great. I have a December birthday as well. Lots of them.
Oh yeah, best
Yeah.
best time of the year. Yeah.
Road or trail, Reg?
Oh, trail, even though I don't do it enough.
Yeah. Morning or evening runs?
Evening.
Music, yes or no? I think we've already answered this.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Smooth or crunchy peanut butter?
Oh, I prefer smooth, but I have to buy crunchy.
Yeah,
I've
so,
been overruled.
dog or cats?
Dogs,
Tea or coffee?
coffee,
Netflix or Prime?
Netflix,
Beer or wine?
wine.
I don't like the next one. Toilet paper, over or under? This is how you hang it.
Oh, I got
Under
told I do
or
this wrong as well.
yeah,
Oh, over?
over. Yeah,
Is over right?
I don't know.
Somebody help us. I probably do it wrong.
Taper. Do you taper? Yes or no?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's not fun.
It's funny that. It's a funny one that. Some
Yeah,
people don't. Yeah. Some
usually 2 or 3 weeks.
yeah.
Just depends. Yep.
Cool. That's the end of me quick fire
Oh,
questions.
good, good.
Just
They weren't too bad.
you've survived. I just want to say a massive thank you for on behalf of everyone for the job that you do on Instagram stories. You're brilliant. You're so good on the camera, and
Oh,
you just chuck out what you're doing, and it's just very relatable, and I enjoy
yeah.
following along. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And I mean, I wouldn't be able to do it if people weren't sharing what they're doing as well, tagging us in their photos and videos, and I love seeing that too. And I get to see how people are progressing in their training and things they're achieving. So it's great fun.
Cool. Thank you. Give us your Twitter and Instagram handles. I know that people can contact you on the UK
Oh yeah.
website and Instagram, but give us yours as well so they can follow you.
So it's Rachel712,
Yep.
but the Rachel is spelt Raachel,
Okay.
because I thought whenever I was probably 15 or 16 that it was really cool to put two A's at the start of my name. And I haven't changed it since, but but my name is actually just spelt Rachel, but I've threw in an extra A to be cool.
Cool.
Yep.
Very cool. Thank you, Rachel.
Yeah.
Right, well, thank you
What
for
was I
coming on
thinking?
to us. It's been lovely getting to know you, and thank you again.
That's great. Thanks, Joe.